This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, everybody. We'll get started in a little bit. I am going to ask that everybody in the chat put your name, where you're coming from, or where you live, either one, and your LinkedIn profile, so we can connect on LinkedIn and see if we have any connections and see if we can be connected somehow, some networking. Go ahead and do that. I'll also add that to the chat so everybody can see that. Thank you, Catherine. All right, welcome everybody. We'll get started in a second. Letting everybody join. We got a lot of participants tonight. Ricky. And if you're just joining us, what I'm asking in the chat is that you add your name, the city that you're from, and your LinkedIn profile. And if you can't get the LinkedIn profile right now, go to LinkedIn, copy the URL, put it back in later. We'll get started in about 3 minutes. I can't get enough of you. Can't get enough of you.
I hear your voice inside my head, everywhere. Oh, yeah, clearly staying inside my head.
Today is R&B Tuesday. If you did not know you were joining R&B Tuesday today. Got to start everything off with some good music. So, all right, one more minute and we will get started here. Hi, Raymond. Thank you for joining us from Hong Kong. Hi, Anna. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Jennifer. So great to see you. Oh, Ashley, you're in Sacramento with me. We got to connect. I will drop my LinkedIn in a little bit, so we can definitely connect because I'm in Sacramento as well. And now I'm going to do this. All right. All righty then. All right, let's get started here. So let me stop music share real quick, and we will get started. Hi, Owen, welcome. And I'll give you a quick overview of who we are. Oh, thanks for joining us, Jessica. We got some people on the East Coast. We got Hong Kong in the house. Chicago, San Jose. Thank you, California. Abbott, Chicago. Thank you, Brad. All right, so let me put the screen back up. We'll get started here, and I'll let you know who I am. Like this lady who keeps talking. All right, guys. So my name is Maisha Robertson. I am the president of the San Francisco Bay Area chapter of the National Black MBA, and I would like to welcome you to our corporate finance career path session with Abbott. And so before I get started, I want to give a huge shout out to my Abbott champion, my wonderful member, Allison McMillan, and my new friend for putting this together. She's been such an amazing spirit, such amazing energy, just amazing person altogether for putting all these events together for Abbott with us. So thank you for being really into the activation with our chapter and Abbott. So we appreciate you so, so much. All right, so just to give you a few house rules. So we're going to keep everybody on mute. The only people that are unmuted at this time will be the folks that are spotlighted, so our panelists and myself. If you have questions, please use the chat function. We're not doing webinar today. We wanted to see everybody on the screen because you'll have a chance to unmute later on for Q&A. But if you have a question that's immediate during the panel session, just go ahead and put it in the chat. Allison and myself will take a look at the chat, and if it's something that needs to be commented on during that time, we will bring it up. If not, we'll wait to the Q&A session. So all questions in the chat. And if you have your video on, we just ask that you keep it on for the remainder of the time. If you have it off, totally fine. When we get to Q&A, again, you can turn the video on, and then I'll unmute anybody who wants to ask a question. If you are going to ask a question, since we are in meeting mode, there is the participants, you have your emojis. So you can use your emoji and put your hand up, or you can use the raise hand function in Zoom. Either one, and then when we get to the Q&A session, we'll answer the questions there. So let me tell you a little bit about who we are before we get started with our session. So National Black MBA Association, we are the San Francisco Bay Area chapter. We are one out of 42 chapters across the nation. Our mission is to lead in the creation of educational wealth, building and growth opportunities for those historically underrepresented throughout their careers as students, entrepreneurs, and professionals. We empower visionaries intellectually and economically to create a world where diversity and inclusion are both universal. The purpose of our chapter is to enhance the mission and the vision of the National Association. Our National Association now resides in Atlanta, Georgia, as of 4 years ago, but the National Association was founded in Chicago in the 1970s. So we have 5 channels of engagement that we go through in each chapter of our association. We talk about education, where we develop capacity for learning to absorb and apply knowledge, career, and that's access to professional development opportunities and acquiring new skills, where we put on sessions like this, either in person or virtually, or hybrid sometimes, which also does career development, career recruitment, so different paths of career is involved in this session. Entrepreneurship, where we help to improve financial literacy and wellness and increase access to entrepreneurship opportunities for our members. Leadership development is where we develop the ability to lead and utilize the resources to achieve outcomes and to navigate challenges. And then finally, our lifestyle events. And those are our networking and social events where we try to provide a sense of community to positively impact quality and life and personal growth of all of our members. So those are our 5 channels of engagement. That's how we do what we do. And then just like different things like the networking events, the sessions is how we do it. So looking forward to meeting some of you guys who are in California, in the Northern California area, probably in a few months, probably May, June, if you're able to come out to some of our networking events that we'll have in person. If you're not in our area, I will send a link at the end of the session, and you can find your local National Black MBA chapter in your city. All right, so now let's get to it. I am going to actually ask our panelists, I'm going to take this down in 1 second. I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, and then I'm going to do an icebreaker with them before we get started. All right, so we're going to start with Eric. If you could introduce yourself, and then you pass it on to the next person.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Eric D. Mays. I joined Abbott in 2019 by way of Abbott's Finance Professional Development Program. I started that, and it's their rotational program. I started my first rotation in Temecula, California, then went to Columbus, Ohio, where I worked with our nutrition team, and then spent a little bit of time in Chicago in the Lake County area working with our corporate LNA. And then I spent a little bit of time in manufacturing finance overseas in the United Kingdom. So since the completion of my rotational program, I have since relocated to the Bay Area, and I currently work as a financial analyst for the US operations of Abbott Diabetes Care Division. Just a little bit of background about me. I was born and raised in the state of Arkansas. That's where I also continued my education at the University of Arkansas, attaining my BSBA with concentrations in accounting and supply chain. While I was in school, I served as the president of my university's NABA chapter, which is National Association of Black Accountants. And I continue to work alongside my coworkers, who some of them are here today, to be an integral part of the diversity and inclusion team throughout Abbott. Next, you'll hear from, I'm just gonna go by how it's laid on my screen here. So Rowan, you can go next.
Hi everyone, and I wish Eric could do my introduction because that was pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm Rowan Tuckett. I have been at Abbott for about 10 years now. Currently, I am a senior finance manager in the Rapid Diagnostics Group. I spent 4 years in the Bay Area working in our diabetes care team where Eric is now. So I'm very familiar, very happy to be here. I've spent time in a few other divisions. I, like Eric, was a president of my NAVA chapter in school, so pretty excited to be here, pretty excited to engage, and can't wait to answer some questions and hear from all of you. So with that, I'll pass it on to Unica.
Thanks, Rowan. I'll echo you. Eric, you could have gave all of ours. You did an awesome job. Hello, everyone. My name is Unica Murray. I am a finance director, of course, at Abbott, supporting our U.S. commercial business and core diagnostics. I have been with Abbott for about 15 years, and I have worked in always in the Lake County, Illinois area here, but I have worked in a number of different areas, different corporate functions, different areas within our core diagnostics business. And, you know, one thing about me is I kind of float. I have my education as accounting degrees. I'm a CPA, and part of my career, I focus a lot on accounting. And then lately what I was realizing is that I have more FP&A experience now, which I never thought I would focus on FP&A when I got my accounting degree. But I'm really happy to be here today.
All right, we already got some comments on you guys. You guys are all amazing. So thank you guys for joining us today. I'm excited about this session. And so like I said, we're gonna start with icebreakers. So I'm gonna throw you off, okay? Just a little popcorn, so anybody can go first. I won't call on anybody, so whoever wants to go first. So very random, okay, don't forget that. What was your favorite way to kill time during quarantine?
Wow. So sure. So I think like everyone else, I found a lot of really great shows to watch. I think, you know, Tiger King took up a solid week of my life. But I tell you, I have a 12-year-old at home during COVID, and keeping him entertained was probably the biggest challenge, and ended up being entertaining for me. So we did, you know, I had to do scavenger hunts around the house, or find different. We had a COVID Olympics where we kind of went and competed. He beat me in almost everything, but I think that was a fun and interesting thing I tried to do.
Unica?
So I watched a lot of HGTV, and then with all the free time on my hand, I painted a lot of rooms, redesigned my closet, I redid my kitchen, changed the stairs, rebuilt the fireplace. So I now think I'm an interior decorator.
You did a whole remodel. As soon as you said HGTV, I knew what happened. All right, Eric, your turn.
Definitely. I wish I was as productive as the other two panelists over the quarantine period, but I spent a lot of my time kind of connecting, or at least trying to connect with those people that I wasn't around virtually, whether that being on the phone or virtual happy hours. I had probably too many of those along the way, but just finding other ways to kind of kill my time.
Perfect. It's okay. Everybody did different things during quarantine. Don't worry about it. I was productive and not productive. There was times where it's just like, just go to sleep all day. It's totally fine. Then I was like outside working out. So it ups and downs. It's okay though. So let's see. One more random question for you guys. Okay. I like this. Last week I had a session with a facilitator, and it was a random question, and I loved it so much. I'm going to use it on you guys. She said, describe the animal that describes you, or tell us the animal that describes you the best. Any animal.
Wow.
I know that's what I said. I was like, oh, this is big one to think about.
I know. So I've been described as a cat before, because I unknowingly tend to sneak up on people for some reason. You know, but if I were to describe myself, it would probably be a big cat. So I'm gonna go with like a lion or a tiger.
Okay, I was gonna say, what size cat is it?
Yeah, I know,
right? Are you a lion?
Yeah.
Are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna be king of the jungle. You're a lion today.
There you go.
Eric?
If I had to say an animal, I would go with an ape or a gorilla. Something that's big. I like to beat my chest a lot. It can be kind of loud, which kind of depends on the environment.
Okay, so you would have been in Black Panther movie perfectly. I know which clan you would have been in. Perfect. All right, and Miss Unica.
I have no idea. So let me think. Apparently, I'm supposed to say some big ferocious animal. Actually, what I was thinking is, actually, one thing I did during COVID is I got my first dog ever, which I ended up getting a poodle, right? And all my friends said, yep, that seems like that fits you, right? Personality-wise, we think they're a little foo-foo, right? However, they're very intelligent, big protectors of their family, right? And very curious, right? So actually, I think I do have some of those good traits, which is probably what attracted me to that breed.
And they said the dog that you pick is usually like a resemblance of your personality. So then I'm like, I have Chihuahuas that are mixed with terriers, and they're a little feisty. So
I can see that.
I don't know. And then they're loud. So I'm like, But I was a cheerleader, so I get the loud part. All right, this is perfect, you guys. All right, you ready to dig in? All right, so this is for all three of you. So we'll go popcorn. I'll start with Unica. Good. We'll go to Eric, and then Rowan, you'll answer last. And give me about 2 minutes each, okay? So tell us why you chose a career in finance.
So I guess I would say I chose my career in finance. I actually started, like I said, all my degrees are accounting. And I chose my career actually when I was 17 years old, when I was trying to pick my major, right? My counselor said, hey, Unica, you're really good at numbers. I think I hear you want to go into business, right? That's what you're saying. Try accounting. Took the class, my first accounting class in high school, loved it so much. I worked through the entire book ahead of the class, took all the tests, and I was in heaven with all my debits and credits, right? So that's literally why I chose it. And then as I continued my education in college, I still had the love for it. And so I wanted to do something that made me happy. And that literally, yes, debits, credits, accounting, finance, it makes me happy. So that was it.
I'll go next. So the reason I chose finance as my career path, I was always interested in numbers, but I would say more so I disliked science more. So not that I was good at numbers, but I just appreciated that things made more sense to me, or at least added up in some way or another. And then I kind of stayed in it as I kind of dabbled through internships and things, because I saw the different opportunities and the involvement that I can get within the finance career path. Finance is different than a lot of the other business areas, whereas you get to be involved in other parts of the business. Whereas, if you go into more of a specialized function, then you're kind of into those. So really me not knowing exactly what I wanted to do helped me to find out that finance was right for me.
Yeah, and I have a pretty boring answer. It's pretty the family business. My father was a CPA. My brother works in corporate finance at Chase. And when I started college as an accounting major and loved it ever since. It's the job security doesn't hurt. Being able to be a part of a business, no matter what industry or area it's in, is really exciting to me. But yeah, it's kind of been in the blood. So
Okay, that's really interesting. So, Unica, you knew at 17 this is the path for you. Eric and Ryan, you were like in college and you were just like, yep, we're just going to do this. I love numbers. My family's in this. Is the thing to do. So, do you have to be good with numbers to be successful in the finance industry?
I wouldn't say so. There's calculators everywhere.
Good answer. Good answer. So anybody that's listening and you're not really, really great with numbers or numbers is not your thing, you can still have a career path in finance. Like you said, calculators are still around. We can still use them. Still a thing. So I totally love it. All right. So Unica, I know you have an MBA. And so let's talk about how that MBA has helped you so far in your career.
Yeah, so, I had to think about it. It's been a while since I earned that MBA, right? But, how did it help me? Actually, what I saw immediately when I got my MBA, maybe within the first year, I would say, I actually switched companies. And as I put my resume out there, I had a lot of interest. And what I was told was a lot of that was because, yes, I had the accounting degree, but I also had the MBA, right? So it made me more marketable. Also, I think how it's helped me is it did help me develop my management and my leadership skills, something that I didn't really focus on right in undergrad. The other thing is it did help, just being transparent, when like I said, I put my resume out there, I think it did help me salary rise, right? So I know when I got an offer at this company, they told me that for my position, they offered me more because of the MBA, right? So that made me feel good considering all the money I had just paid for it. Yeah. But it also, I'd say it's one more thing that I think it also, how's it helped my career in my day-to-day? I think it gives me a perspective of how the business runs, right? Like it's intuitive to me that, I went through all these classes and things, right? Like, but I just learned more about overall business, where I've supported some of my business partners that don't have a business background, and I could see the difference, right? So I think it's helped there as well.
All right, perfect. So I like how you were talking about, one, a lot of people get their MBA, and the main reason they get their MBA is because of the salary increases that happen with that. Nowadays, it depends on the industry. Sometimes you get an increase. Sometimes it is the same with anybody who doesn't have an MBA, just depending on your industry. But like what you said was the MBA's purpose is to give you that perspective of business and how the day-to-day operations run and how the operations run, so you can partner better with other folks who are on that side of the business. So loving hearing that. Eric, tell me about your career in finance from when you started college with a degree. Where did you go right after that?
So I initially started getting into, I guess, my actual career path through various internships. And that would say helped me a lot in terms of kind of identifying what I wanted to do. One thing that we'll kind of touch on a little bit throughout today is there's so many opportunities within finance. It's not necessarily one thing. So throughout my internships, I've interned with a different company and then came into to Abbott. So I spent my college time interning, returned there all 3 years. And then post-graduation, I joined Abbott's professional development program.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the professional development program at Abbott?
Yeah, definitely. For those of you who are known to Abbott, we refer to it as the PDP. We have various organizations, but finance is the one that I'll participated in. So essentially right after graduation, so within the 2-year frame, you will have 4 different rotations within the company at the different divisions and different functions of finance. I spent mine in manufacturing finance, corporate finance, and commercial at P&A. So those are, for example, just some of the different finance things that you can do, all with kind of the same degree.
Okay, I love that. And Rowan, can you talk about, your father is a CPA, your brother worked in corporate finance at Chase.
Yes.
So tell us about your career path. How did that help influence where you are now?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, I graduated with an accounting degree. During college, I got recruited by the public accounting firms, and I did 2 internships with PwC. Eventually joined PwC after graduation, and learned a lot there about accounting and how to work really hard. Really enjoyed my time there, but got to a point where I wanted to do more than just audit someone else's financials, and I wanted to have more of a connection to a company. So I had the opportunity to join Abbott, and I joined Abbott through its internal audit department, which is a really unique program where they hire people into the internal audit department, but it's not you don't become an auditor for life. They bring people in, you spend 2 years in the internal audit program. As you know, Abbott's in over 160 countries across the world, and our internal audit department kind of is responsible for compliance and financial auditing of all of those divisions. And so I had a chance to visit many different countries, many different areas all over the U.S. And got the opportunity to see a lot of Abbott. And then I pretty much chose where I wanted to roll off into the company. And that's when I decided to go into diabetes care in California. Having been from Chicago and visited California a couple of times, I immediately knew I wanted to spend some time there. So um, then after that, I've had the opportunity to work in a couple other of our Abbott divisions. I get bored easily, so every couple of years, I'm lucky enough to work at a company that gives a lot of great opportunities and a lot of different potential career paths. Whether you want to, like Eric mentioned, in corporate FP&A and supporting commercial sales organizations, supporting cost accounting and manufacturing, our specialty functions like treasury. I worked in audit. I worked supporting a commercial sales function. I worked supporting our manufacturing and our nutrition group. Um, and now I'm in our rapid diagnostics or our diagnostics group, where, as you guys know, I'm helping to support, sales of COVID testing. So it's been a great journey, a lot of different things. And yeah, I've been loving it.
I just want you to bring down the COVID test really quick. If you guys didn't hear what he said.
Right there.
So if you don't know, everything behind Rohan is Abbott made. So
Yep.
Pedialyte is there. So I don't know how many people knew that Abbott makes Pedialyte. And that's one of their products. A lot of people don't know that. But they also have the home testing kit as well, which is on that top shelf next to the number one hand.
There you go.
So we talked about the different divisions. So like there's rotational program. Rowan, you've been in different divisions within Abbott. And so let's talk about, as finance professionals within this large organization that has so many divisions that's so spread across the world, how do you ensure that you continue to grow and develop as leaders? And then so I'll go to Unica.
Okay. So I guess I'll talk about the development. One thing is actually kind of what Rowan was alluding to here is just having some of the movement between, whether we're moving between divisions or even roles, right? Part of that we continue to develop overall, right? Like that continues to develop your skills. I know at one point I moved into a role where I had, at that time, it was my largest organization. It was like 14 people. That expanded my leadership skills, right? Like I went from managing 2 people to 14, right? My current role that I moved into is a commercial role. Well, it's my second commercial role, managing a full P&L. So there I am developing, right? And Abbott, trust me, invest in me enough to give me the opportunities to move into these different positions that help develop some of my technical skills as well as leadership, right? As the organization's large that I support now. In addition, though, we have, there's always continuous training also, right? From a leadership perspective. I know I personally, Abbott actually has training for leaders that we get information all the time on different trainings that we can take, et cetera. So I make sure that I do that. I do also, I read, attend webinars, et cetera, just to keep fresh, right? Some of the things but it's always good to hear, right? Again, and keep things fresh in your mind. And then also, I would say part of my development as a leader is honestly listening to my my staff, right? So I listen to them. What do they need? What would they like to see different, et cetera? And I feel like they make me a better leader, and help develop my skills by listening to them and talking to them about what they need.
I love that. The peer-to-peer conversations, the opportunity to have upward mobility, professional development, and as somebody put in the chat, there was student programs as well. So Eric, for you, like, how do you ensure that you continue to grow as a leader?
Yeah, definitely. I would say Abbott does do a great job of providing a lot of opportunities and availability to be able to kind of grow and develop continuously, whether that be trainings and webinars or through mentors and things like that. One thing that I will say about that is that even though these opportunities are there, it is kind of up to the individual to kind of take advantage of those opportunities. There can be as many opportunities in the world, but if you don't take it upon yourself to go after those, then it won't have that same effect. So there are a lot of those, but then also kind of finding out what's best for you. So whether that's going out and actively seeking a mentor, or talking to someone who's in a different part of the business, things like that. There's always ample opportunity to kind of continue and grow. I like to think that at one point we're always students. There's not enough knowledge that we can have. So if you can kind of take that and go upon it, then you'll always continue to develop and grow.
I love it. And I love the fact that you highlighted mentors. And so you know how much I love mentors. So Rowan, talk about the mentors and sponsorship opportunities for me. So have you had a chance to grab a mentor or become a mentor while you were at Abbott? And if so, how has either relationship benefited you in your career?
Absolutely. Abbott does a really great job of promoting mentorship and sponsorship. I'll tell you, the mentors, I've had some really great mentors in my career. And when I first started to be active as a mentee and to get good mentors, I think that's what really changed the trajectory of my career. And what I loved about the mentors I had, were they were honest, in a way that would challenge me. They're the ones that would tell, a lot of people that, oh, Rowan, you're doing a great job. Rowan, that's awesome. But the mentors were like, it was okay. You could do better. And it's the mentors that tell me that I can do better, or that tell me, hey, you know what, you're doing a great job, but here's a few things that you probably could improve on. Are the ones that really help take me from, a good employee to employee that can really grow and take advantage of a lot of the opportunities. And then, like you mentioned, I'm in a really unique place now at Abbott, where I have a lot of really great mentors, but then I've accumulated some really great mentees. And like Unika was mentioned earlier, some of the best lessons I've learned at Abbott is learning from the mentees and being able to interact and kind of share the knowledge I've gained and get their feedback and get their honest take on how I'm doing, how Abbott's doing, how their careers are going. And being able to help them has been it makes coming to work and beyond just the financials, it makes coming to work really enjoyable, because it's more about the relationships you build, and the people you can help. Abbott, that's what we're all about, right? It's kind of helping people live their fullest lives, and here the culture at Abbott, it kind of seeps throughout the entire employee base. So mentors are awesome. We have a great official mentor program. We develop a lot of unofficial mentors. And it's changed my career in so many different ways.
I'd love to hear that. Yeah, mentorship is huge. So like Eric said, you have to take advantage of these things. So if you don't put your hand up, if you don't speak, you never know if somebody will be your mentor, or if you can mentor somebody. Like, there's so many opportunities, but you have to raise your hand, or you have to just speak about it and make it happen for yourself. So don't just wait for it to come. Make a move and do something. That's the biggest thing. So Unika, I want to ask you about what you enjoy the most working at Abbott, and what challenges do you feel like you have working at or had working at Abbott, and if you would like to share any of those challenges.
Sure. So what do I like what do I enjoy about working here the most, right? I guess I'll actually kind of piggyback on what Rowan was saying. It's part of it is Abbott is like, we have this great network, and I would say within our finance community as well. Like, you know, we have it's like family, right? Like once it's not just that we know you're in finance, but you know, we may work on projects together, we may have work together, and you develop a lot of great friendships and network and even support systems like that. So that's one of the things that I really enjoy about working at Abbott. I've worked at other companies, and I just feel like it's better at Abbott. Just feels more like home there, right? Another thing that I really like is the opportunities that we have here at Abbott. Like, so whatever, I feel like whatever I want to do, particularly in finance or, you know, in finance, there's an opportunity probably there for me to do it, right? So, and I would have support for it. So that's another thing that I like. Like, there's a lot of opportunity. There's this great network of financial professionals, and even my business partners, everyone feels like a family, and we're all working. We're hard workers working towards the same thing, but we're still, you know, like I said, feels like family. So that's really, you know, those are some of the key things that I really enjoy about working here. Your second part of your question was what challenges. You know, I was thinking about that. If I think about it, I'm not sure I can say I know what challenges I would have. Maybe when I first started, right, it was a big company. And since we're such a large company, trying to learn how to navigate, right? Like, who do I call when this happens? How do I just try to just understand the company, right? And that's something that you kind of experience. Like I said, I've worked at other companies. I experienced that in other companies as well. So not really, I mean, I can't really say what my challenges are per se, but that's probably one. If you made me say one, that's it.
No, but that makes sense. It's a large organization. And so you guys have talked about culture a lot. So Eric, could you like elaborate a little bit more about the culture inside of Abbott, specifically in finance, but then outside of finance, if you could go a little bit about that after you talk about finance first.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that kind of sticks out to me, and you kind of touched on it, one thing you'll hear a lot within Abbott, and whether it's people who are still work for the company or people who have left and things like that, one thing they will say is that the people is kind of what makes the company. And that even goes another step farther when you get into Abbott Finance. So yes, Abbott is a large company. However, it seems like Abbott Finance is only 3 people, even though it's, you know, several hundreds. But that's just shows the relationship and the communication that the divisions have and the leadership have within each other. We have several main divisions that are large, whether it's nutrition or diagnostics or diabetes care. But one thing that I find very interesting is that, you know, when you get to those leadership positions, the finance director of diabetes care talks to the finance director of nutrition and vice versa and things like that. So they always are communicating, even if they're not, you know, in the same area or working at the same place and things like that. They always are communicating and kind of leveraging that network they built, whether that's for business things and they have something that come up and they're not sure about and kind of want another perspective on, they'll call, you know, their counterparts. Or whether it's employee, if someone's looking for someone on a team, yes, we post things and things like that, but the recommendations and the follow-ups and things like that, from even hiring people and getting people on teams, there's always those conversations that go on. And that just kind of goes to show how impactful and how really deep that the people in the organization, how it makes it. Outside of finance, I would say it's the same. One thing that I have kind of experienced while being in Abbott Finance is that, you know, our business partners are the other parts of the business, our operations, our marketing and things like that, and they operate similarly. So that kind of goes to show you that it is a company culture thing, not necessarily, you know, one area or one site, but it's kind of neat that something so big can be, you know, so similar all in those areas.
Yeah, so as a third party to Abbott, I will say your culture, you can see it leaks out, you can see it. So like I said, working with Allison and then working with Jennifer, who are 2 different states, it like you just feel like they embrace you, they want to work with you, they want to make things happen. And it's just like Abbott is the best thing outside of coconut chocolate chip ice cream. And so I'm like, you can feel the culture, it just leaks out with all your employees. So I can totally see how inside, yeah, it's just like, you know, a nice day in Cabo vacation.
Yeah.
So we're going to pivot now. We're going to talk about the career path in finance. So Rowan, if you can tell me, what advice would you give someone who's considering a career in finance? And this could be a college student, or it can be somebody who wants to pivot into the world of finance.
Yeah, I'd say at first, I guess the advice I'd give to anyone considering any careers is do something you love, right? So, and obviously it's not going to be your favorite thing to do in the world, but like Unique and Erica mentioned, you know, when you come to work, when we come to work, it's we don't wake up dreading coming to work every day. You know, maybe a couple of days out of the year, but you know, for the most part, we enjoy. So I'd say one, make sure it's something you're interested in. Now, the great thing about finance, that what drew me to it is, you know, even if you're passionate about something else, like for example, there are a lot of people who are passionate about healthcare. I'm passionate about healthcare, um, and helping people. And as a finance person, I can do that using my finance expertise, but also find ways to really go out there and help people. My parents use Abbott product. My son uses Abbott products, and I know that I'm helping millions of people out there just by showing up to work and helping to build business cases and helping to find reductions in pricing, helping to get our products out into places where it's accessible and affordable. So I would say think about what you're passionate about, and you know, if you finance is a great way to leverage, you know, your expertise, but also find your passion. One of my best friends, he's really into real estate, and you know, he can't go out and buy a bunch of properties, but he's a financial controller for a real estate company, and so he's learned the market, and he does what he enjoys doing every day. So I think it's a great way to find something you're passionate about, and even if you're, you know, if you're not the greatest chef in the world, you can go be a financial controller for a restaurant company. You can pick things. So that's kind of what I tell them. Find something you're passionate about. If you enjoy whatever you enjoy, if you're good at finance, it's a great way to spend your days.
Perfect. And Unica and Eric, I'm going to ask this to you. So just to still go into that question, for those who are pivoting from other careers, you know, there's so many people now where it's like, I had these classes back, you know, in college, and I feel like I'm going to, you know, finish my accounting degree or get a certification, but I'm going to pivot into finance. So what transferable skills do you see that most people need to go ahead and pivot into the finance world?
I'll start. I guess one thing I always say that what do you need is you need a curiosity, right? Like if you're going to be successful in finance, you need to be curious, right? Because the numbers are numbers, but they always tell a story. So you need to be able to investigate, understand what that story is telling. So one, that's something that you need. And even though calculators are available, you do need to be comfortable with numbers, right? Like so in Excel files. So those are some things that if you're really you're comfortable, you're curious, you know, you understand the numbers tell a story, can help bring that story to life, tell that story. I think those are a couple of key attributes that you would need in order to pivot.
Eric?
Yeah, one thing, just kind of build off of that is, one thing that a lot of people who transfer into finance that I would say benefits them a lot is that they bring a different perspective to it. When you are with people like myself or Unique or Rowan who have kind of done finance forever and you know, that's what we're comfortable with and it doesn't really, you know, have a second thought to us. Sometimes when you have those different perspectives, whether you were coming from, you know, some type of operations field or, you know, even if it can be really any or any other career path, so to speak. But bringing that into the finance would definitely make you better at it, because the numbers will be the same, but then those outside experiences that you're bringing will kind of assist and kind of show you how to tell that story a little bit better, or to provide more background and detail that, you know, a regular finance person might not have even known or been able to leverage.
I like that. All right, so give me what a finance career map would look like at Abbott. So a roadmap in Abbott. Anybody?
I can touch on a little bit. And one thing that I will say is that, you know, I'm kind of interested to see what my panelists will say about this, because there isn't one necessarily, you know, path. That's kind of the beauty of it. It's you can have different experiences. You can start in commercial and then, you know, go to operations or vice versa. So there's not necessarily one path, but it can really be the path for you. One thing I will say about it is my PDP experience is a very realistic kind of debut of what it could look like. So I started in the vision reporting role, then went to manufacturing operations, and then went to corporate. So that also goes to show the different areas you can do within finance, but then also, even though there's this big company in different divisions and they're all basically their own entities, being able to get in and work with those separately kind of continues to grow and shows that, you know, just because you're in one area doesn't mean you can't go into the other ones, but they necessarily build off of each other. You know, I'm in diabetes care now, but like I said, you know, my manager and finance director talked to, you know, all the other ones from the other divisions. So it really is endless, so to speak.
Unica?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, there definitely, Eric's correct, there definitely isn't one career path, right? Like, so my general statement is a finance career path at Abbott could be whatever you want it to be, right? So if you enjoy, you know, supporting business partners, working, you know, budgeting, forecasting, then you can have your full career in doing that, whether it's supporting, and then you want to support commercial, you can support commercial operations, like Rowan was saying earlier. If there's something that you're passionate about and you know, maybe can't do that. I did almost pivot majors at some point. I wanted to be an attorney. Well, I did not go to law school, but I actually supported our legal area, right, for a number of years. So I was passionate about it. You know, I love to hear the word deposition, and I got to understand what was going on. So, but it really can be whatever you want. And also, like I said, I spent a portion of my career in accounting. So I worked in international accounting, corporate accounting. What it really can be, and that's one of the things that I personally just love and enjoy about working at Abbott, is a finance career here can be basically whatever you would like it to be, right?
I love that. Rowan?
Yeah, I completely agree with Unique and Eric. And I think what I would add is Abbott completely encourages people to explore and gives people the opportunity. It's not just an option. It's a, hey, if you want whatever you want to try, we have a culture of, you know, go out and try it. We'll give you the opportunity. Like Unique was mentioned, we could list them off. Like I just recently this year or late last year found out about our business insights group, which is pretty much our consultants, and all they do is provide consulting advice to our senior leadership. And oh, that's so cool. That's so interesting. You know, we have our technical accounting group. We have our groups that support all of our major divisions. We have our treasury group. It's pretty much endless. If you really love tax, I hate tax, but if you really love tax, we have a great tax accounting group that you could join. So there is no career path. There's no one career path. There's just so many different options. And then we haven't even talked about the geographic diversity. Like, you know, you could go work out. I just met a business partner who's working in Singapore, and I met our Singapore controller. And it's, you know, you want to go work as a controller or a financial analyst out in Singapore, you know, or in Europe or in Central America, the options are pretty endless. So yeah, there's no one defined career path at Abbott. There's just so many opportunities to grow and do whatever it is you really love and are comfortable with.
Yeah, so it sounds like you basically could make your career path. You have so many different opportunities. You can do the rotational program and figure out what you like through there, or you could be traditional and come in and then figure out your path through the traditional route without the rotational program. So sounds like there's so many different opportunities to get to know your career path within Abbott, which is amazing because, like we said, this is a really large organization that covers a lot of territory. And so you have a lot of opportunity, which is amazing. So before we wrap up, we're going to talk about one piece of advice each of you would give our audience on how to have a successful career in finance. We will start with Rowan.
Yeah, sure. So I would say one thing I love to tell people is don't get comfortable. Enjoy being uncomfortable. Enjoy pushing yourself. Enjoy challenging yourself. Embrace the difficult parts of the job. I'll tell you, I've listed a few of the roles I've taken, and every single role I've taken, someone gave me a reason not to take it, or someone said, "Hey, man, do you really want to go there? It's going to be a challenge." But I love it, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why I've had some of the success that I've had is because I've embraced that challenge, and the challenge has made me better. The challenge has forced me to grow, and I think if you want to have a successful career in finance or whatever it is you do, the advice I would give is to embrace the challenges, embrace the hard parts, and use those to grow and develop.
Great advice. Eric?
Yeah, that is good advice. One thing I would say, or a piece of advice would be to really decide what you want to do. Bet on yourself, make those hard decisions, those hard conversations. Decide, is this where I want to lean, or is this better for me? Those type of things. And then also to utilize and leverage all your opportunities and network. You'll be surprised who knows who, or who has worked with someone and things like that. So definitely don't take those opportunities lightly.
Miss Unica.
I would say, my co-panelists, one, have said it very well, right? But overall, I would say there's probably two things I would say. One, what I said before, make sure you're doing something that you love to do, right? So when you love to do it, it doesn't feel like work, right? So that's going to be one key, because finance, right, it's a lot of work and we deal with a lot of numbers. But the other thing I guess I would say is kind of what Rowan said, is make sure you challenge yourself, right? Getting comfortable. If you want to have a successful career, you should, try to challenge yourself and be comfortable being uncomfortable. Right? So I think one of the things, when I was younger, I thought I would only work in accounting, right? And one of my mentors challenged me to go into FP&A, and I would not have thought that I would have loved it the way that I do now. So definitely, it made me uncomfortable originally, but it was the right thing to do.
All right, all great advice. The one I love the most is get uncomfortable with being comfortable. We stop getting stuck in the comfort zone. Everything happens outside of that box. So always step in the uncomfortable zone. It's just so many things that you could do there. And then I love, like you said, embrace the challenges. A lot of people run away from them. No, embrace them, because you can get through it. It's just another path. You might take longer than somebody else, but it's another path, and you still come out on the other side where it's sunny and rainbows and there's mint chocolate chip ice cream. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and questions. Go ahead. If you have a question, you can totally put your hand up using that hand raise function in the participant button area in your menu. But before we end, I do want you guys to, one thing I want to know is, could you tell us why you're passionate about being an internal champion of employee development, Unica? And for Eric and Rowan, can you tell us why you got into professional associations like NABA? So I'll go with Unica because she's an internal champion of employees.
I would say, honestly, the basic answer is I just love to see people learn and grow, right? So, and I want to give, people the same energy and, things that were given to me, right? Someone wanted to see me grow, instilled some faith and confidence in me, and I want to make sure that I'm doing the same. So, and that just, in addition to my numbers making me happy with my debits and credits, but that seeing people learn and grow really just, it's a fulfillment that I can't really, quantify.
Love that. Eric?
Yeah, I will answer this by kind of touching on another thing as well, and that's kind of the definition of success a little bit, and that varies for everyone. What's my definition of success might not be yours, and vice versa. But for me, I would say that that includes, me being somewhere where I'm happy, somewhere where I feel challenged, where I know that I'm respected and valued both professionally and personally. And then lastly, another big part of that is if I'm able to help someone. So as you mentioned, I was a part of NABA, still am, and the motto that I love so much is lifting as we climb. And it's that ideal that, you can make all of the, accomplishments and have all the accolades that you desire. But, the real part that holds value is to be able to lift someone up as you're continuing to climb that ladder. So that's something that I definitely take to heart and try to do at any point that I can.
Mm-hmm. You lift up and you reach back. I love that. And Rowan?
Yeah, I think it's 100% mutually beneficial. I love, like Eric and Unica said, being able to help and to pass on some of the knowledge and experiences that I got. But whether I'm helping people professional development, or whether I'm doing a panel like this, the networking is great, the experience is great, being able to meet new people, being able to challenge myself, being able to have conversations about things and with people who I usually don't have these conversations with. It makes me a better person. It makes my organization better, and it makes whoever I'm talking to hopefully a little bit better as well. So it's mutually beneficial. Enjoy it, love it, do it every chance I get.
Well, thank you all. So before we go, I'm going to share my screen again. And give me a thumbs up when you can see it, because it takes you guys away from me. And so let me find where I put you guys, somewhere over here. There you go. All right. So somebody who did it, Miss Catherine, thank you so much. You were absolutely amazing. Catherine put a link in there for Abbott's current finance openings. There is a QR code on the screen. Please scan that if you want to join Abbott's talent community. You just scan, register with Abbott, and you'll get some information. If you have questions, Catherine is the one who dropped the link in the chat, but Catherine is also the person that you need to connect with if you have questions about career at Abbott. I want to thank everybody from Abbott who's on the call. Miss Jennifer Nichols, it's lovely to see you again. Allison, thank you again for putting this together. And Catherine, thank you so much for being the chat champion today for Abbott. I totally appreciate you. My panelists, you guys are absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to meet you guys in person one day. And for everybody else, this is your opportunity to learn more about the National Black MBA or to find your local chapter of the National Black MBA. Please visit the link in the chat, which is also on the screen. We have, again, 42 chapters across the nation. We have a huge conference coming up. We are the business of business, basically. And so we go through all industries, and we do this with different corporate partners, and we do this with different industry speakers and professionals. So this is the thing that we do. We help put on professional development, career development for you, our members, and our community. So if you're ever interested in joining, again, click on the link in the chat. Follow me on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. Our link is also on the screen now. And so I just want to say thank you. I didn't see any questions that were not answered in the chat. And so thank you, Allison and Catherine, for following up on the chat questions. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to stop sharing screen and remove all the spotlights so you guys can see how many people are in here. So if you want to come on screen, wave bye, feel free to come on screen. I'm going to take a picture in 10 seconds. So if you want to be in the picture, come off the video mute and show your face so we can take a picture. All right, Jennifer and Unica, you guys need to connect because you guys are like HGTVers. You both did the same thing during COVID. So Jennifer built her office. So you guys definitely need to connect.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I did more than my office, right, Maisha?
I know you did, but your office was my lovely spot.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a picture on 3, okay? And 1, 2, I don't know where the camera is, 3. Oh wait, hold on. We had a new person. Phoenicia, you're in there. You ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you guys. And that is the end of our